Hello everyone, I'm Sean Kay and welcome to Who Wins, the new series that I've started, which involves a massive tournament bringing in characters, fictional characters from the world of gaming, comics, movies, TV, brings them all together in a tournament, makes them fight to the death until only one remains. 128 competitors, only one winner. This week, my associate Sean Kennedy, the other Sean Kay, is not here, unfortunately. He couldn't make it, so I've replaced him with a nice little plush Pikachu toy dressed in some sort of Pokeball type outfit. Well, it is a Pokeball outfit. So, this is a message to Sean Kay. If you're watching Sean Kennedy, this is what happens if you don't appear. You get replaced with a Pikachu toy. So, that's what happens, you bastard. Come back next week. Also, there's a cat here. I don't know if you see this on the camera. There's also a cat here. So, we're all also representing Mr. Kennedy, my cat Rogue, and Pikachu. So there you go. She's currently attacking Pikachu. That's quite interesting. So this is, of course, episode 2, Battle 2 of this tournament. Battle 1 was last week, Daenerys versus Katniss Everdeen. Voting's still going on, so please vote on that one. I think we've got a couple of votes so far, something like that. So please continue voting. As many votes as possible would be awesome. It's awesome to hear opinions on who's going to win that battle. Daenerys versus Katniss. We argued it last week. The voting's still continuing, probably for a month. I might even extend it further, so we'll see what happens there. So like I say, please vote on that in the comment section below. This week is Buffy Summers versus Sarah Pizzini, aka Witchblade. A very interesting battle. We'll start by introducing the character of Buffy. We'll introduce the two characters, and then we'll go into the battle itself. Buffy Summers, then. I am a massive, huge fan of Buffy. A huge fan. I have all the DVD box sets up there, including that one there, which is, if you can see it, is season 5 of Buffy. All the fancy limited edition box sets. I've been to conventions where I've met the actors and stuff like that. I love that show. Absolutely love it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a show which, there's a film before it was a show. There's a film came out in 1992, I believe. I never saw it. Actually, weirdly, I'm a massive fan of the show, but I've never actually seen the original film. The film flopped, didn't do very well. Joss Whedon wasn't very happy with it. So the god that is Joss Whedon decided, you know what, we're going to do it again. So he brought the show to our screens, and it became a TV show in 1996 or 7, one of those two. That's when it started. Finished in about 2003 to 2004. The series ran for 7 seasons, and was a very successful series. Huge fan base, huge sort of cult following, and of course the character of Buffy become synonymous with powerful female characters. Kind of almost started that kind of run of those strong female characters. Was very much an influential figure in the world of TV. So who is Buffy? Buffy is the main character of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, obviously. She's a vampire slayer, she's a slayer. What is a slayer? Well, into every generation a slayer is born. One girl in all the world and all that malarkey. I won't go through the whole thing, but basically she is chosen. So every generation a slayer is chosen. When one dies, another one gets called up and becomes the Slayer. So they are chosen to fight evil, to fight demons, vampires, the forces of evil, the forces of darkness, all that sort of stuff. So every generation a new one's chosen. Buffy Summers was one of those. She was chosen when she was, I think, 16. Maybe even earlier than that. But the show basically started when she was 16. And sort of follows her through sort of high school, college, into adulthood and all that sort of stuff. Very nice to see that journey of the character throughout the series. And she fights the forces of darkness. She fights. She's a really kick-ass character. In terms of the abilities it gives her, enhanced strength. It gives her enhanced speed, reflexes, all that sort of stuff. Healing abilities to an extent. She heals faster than it's not like uber proper regenerative abilities. It's just she just heals faster than normal humans. She's skilled with all kinds of weaponry. skilled in like martial arts and all that sort of stuff. Very, very powerful character. She's fought some badass opponents. Season 1 she fought like the uber vampire of the world, like the master, who is this like 1,000-year-old vampire, been around forever, really powerful vampire. Season 2 she fought basically one of the baddest vampires in the world, who is also a lover, but you know, it's a bit complicated. Season 3 she fights a giant fucking snake demon thing, really powerful creature. Season 4 she fights this weird ass Frankenstein thing the government made, this military operation thing. Season 5 she fights a god. Yes, she's fought a god. Glory, Buffy went in and said, I don't give a shit about this. Defeated the god, kicked the shit out of her. Season 6 she fights a friend in season 6. Really powerful witch. It's gone off a trolley a bit. Season 7, the first evil. Literally the first evil in the world she fights and she wins. So, you know, like I say, she's badass. A very, very powerful female character. In a very, very successful series, which I love dearly. If we go into Witchblade then as well, Witchblade is a comic series. This is sort of one of the comics. It's split in two because basically later on in the series there's two Witchblades, two people that use the Witchblade. The one on the left, the left according to where the camera's facing, is Sarah Pezzini. And she is the original Witchblade, the first Witchblade. Witchblade is a series started in 1995 by Top Cow Productions, which is the company that do it, Top Cow. They also did The Darkness. I don't know if you've not heard of Witchblade, you might have heard The Darkness because they released a couple of games of The Darkness on PS3 and Xbox 360. I've only played the first one, I've played the second one, but they've got out two of them. Darkness and Darkness 2. So you may have heard of them, you may know what the Darkness is. It's like this, you know, kind of crazy, like, it's a dude with like these weird creature things that he sends out and you can control them in the game and stuff. I mean, the main character of that series is actually in this tournament, so we'll see him at some point, but you may have heard of the Darkness if you hadn't heard of Witchblade. Witchblade, though, is that woman there, Sarah Pezzini. And actually, it finished not long ago. The comic series, it's very disappointing. Like I have read like some of the comic series, not all of it, and I hadn't followed it for a while. And I found out through the research of this that actually it finished last year. Like they stopped. It got to about issue 185, and then they ended it. I don't know if they're doing anything more with it, but yeah, that's quite upsetting. That is. But yeah, Witchblade. In terms of the character, Sarah Pezzini, she is a New York cop. So she's a police officer in New York, and she's investigating some sort of case, and ends up coming across the Witchblade. The Witchblade itself is a weapon, and much like Buffy, sort of very similar to Buffy in the sense that she is chosen by it. So much like Buffy is chosen by this power, the Witchblade, Sarah Pezzini, is chosen by the Witchblade, which is one of 13 artifacts. There's 13 these powerful artifacts. They're not even all been revealed at this point. Like I think about 8 have been revealed, not all of them have. Witchblade is one of them. Darkness is another of the artifacts. Witchblade is another one. It's basically a weapon, so what it does is it lashes onto you. If you're not using it, it comes in the form of like a bracelet type thing. It's got like a jewel in the middle, big red jewel in the middle. And so yeah, it sort of forms. Basically, well, I'll show you if I show you some pictures, because I was meant to show you some pictures of Buffy as well. So here is some pictures of Buffy. So that's some pictures of Buffy. You probably know who she is, let's be honest, but I was meant to show you some pictures anyway. So that's some pictures of Buffy. And if you want to become more familiar, I mean, there's a slideshow going here, so obviously all the pictures and stuff are coming up here of Buffy and Witchblade. You can kind of see the Witchblade thing, but I'll put some pictures up here now. So they're sort of, that gives you an idea of what the Witchblade looks like when it's actually on the wearer. It does a bunch of different things. It's a very powerful weapon. So it can cover you in armour. So it creates armour depending on your opponent. So if your opponent is like a normal bloke, a normal human being, it's going to be less. You're going to be less armoured to the point at which you can protect yourself from that being, if you're facing something more powerful, then obviously you'll get more armour according to that opponent. It's like a sentient thing. It can also obviously be used as a weapon. She can create swords from it, so it sort of forms into like a sword that she can cut people up with. It can like shoot energy blasts and stuff. She can turn it into basically a gun, shoot energy blasts. It's got healing abilities as well. I'm not sure whether it's like regenerative abilities, like if she was to get injured in a fight, it just automatically. It probably would, I assume, because it's a very powerful thing, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But she does have healing abilities with it. It gives her flight. She can fly with it. She can create wings, which allow her to fly. It's a very powerful object. It apparently can reanimate the dead as well. But I mean, that probably won't come into play in this fight. So a very, very powerful weapon that you can use. And in terms of the battle, I mean, we'll set in terms of the arena first of all. It's probably just going to be like a city. We'll just say a city, but like New York, why not? Because Sarah Pazzini's from New York, so we'll set it basically in New York. So you've got all the streets and stuff. Buffy can run into shops, whatever she wants to do, into buildings and stuff. And also in terms of Buffy, I want to set out that this is. I've read the season after the series came out, the TV series. They brought out comics. They're doing season 8. They've done season 8, season 9. I think they're on season 10 at the moment. So it's still going strong. The whole Buffy fandom, like fans love it, so it'll never get old. So they're still doing the comic series. I have only read season 8. I've not read season 9 or 10. So what I'm going to say is TV show Buffy. So sort of, at the point she's at season 7, we'll say that's where she's at. So in terms of the fight, like, it's an interesting one. But here's the thing: this is why Mr. Kennedy not being here today is a bit annoying, because I've got a natural sort of bias towards Buffy because I'm such a huge fan. Obviously, I love Witchblade as well, fantastic character, but I'm in love with Buffy. It's just very hard to kind of. Mr. Kennedy's fallen over. I'll just sit him up. There we go. And so it's very hard to kind of go against Buffy, but having researched this fight and researched what the Witchblade can do, it's very hard. I'm finding it hard to defend Buffy in this battle, because here's the thing: like, Buffy obviously has the enhanced abilities. She's got the super strength. She's got the not super speed, but enhanced speed. Faster reflexes and stuff. But the Witchblade can do so much. It's so powerful. She can send it out she can do anything with it. It sends out like tendrils and stuff, so she can shoot energy blasts and stuff. So she can fight from range. And here's the thing as well with Buffy: like, a lot of the show is about not just Buffy, but the sort of ensemble cast. So the friends that she has, the other guys in the she has a friend that's a witch, a powerful witch. She has a friend that's friends that are vampires. So she has these guys that help her out, and you talk about like her fighting people like Glory, who's the god. She wouldn't have defeated that character had it not been for her friends, had it not been for the other guys fighting alongside her. Like, they all bring something to the group that helps Buffy out in these battles. One-on-one, it's a different story, and this battle is one-on-one. So it's going to be difficult to argue Buffy winning this one. She is very resourceful. She's very resourceful, and she does have preparation time. So theoretically, she's gonna, like in season 2, she's fighting a character called the Judge. She pulls out a rocket launcher, things like that. Again, that's ultimately down to her friend's knowledge of weaponry and knowledge of the military and being able to help in that regard. But so again, it involves her friends. But Buffy, theoretically, her friends could help in the preparation. So that could help. She could be prepared for the battle. She could get some more powerful weapons she can use, that kind of thing. It could help. But generally speaking, I think the Witchblade is such a powerful weapon. Now, the one thing I do want to say in Buffy's favour, this is kind of the advantage that Buffy might have, that she may be able to pull out the bag. Buffy and Witchblade are very similar. They are both. There's a lot of similarities. Like, these battles, as I say, are randomly picked. They're 100% randomly chosen. But the first 2 battles have had a lot of similarities in the characters, and it's quite interesting to see that come out. And researching this, it's very clear there's clear similarities there. The fact that these two powerful women that were chosen by these these powers to fight whatever they want to fight with these sort of powerful, with these abilities. You know, two women, and they're both sort of specific to women. So like the Witchblade only chooses women, the Slayer can only be a woman. So it's very kind of, there's a lot of similarities there between the two series. And as a result of that, it means that both characters are chosen by these things, which means both characters are chosen for a reason. They are worthy to wield whatever power they have. So my argument is this: what if the Witchblade were to choose Buffy instead of Sarah in that battle? Because the Witchblade is effectively has its own mind. It chooses who it wants and all this sort of stuff, and it's not necessarily a benevolent object. These artifacts are not necessarily benevolent. The darkness, which is one of the other artifacts, is 100% not benevolent. Like, it's a tool of violence, and it's almost evil in a sense, in a large sense. The Witchblade is sort of the same, isn't it? It's not a benevolent object, so it goes kind of where it wants. If it sees someone who it deems as more worthy of it, it will leave, potentially. It could leave Sarah and latch on to somebody else. That someone could be Buffy. And here's the thing, like, Buffy is a powerful being. She rocks up. She's got this natural power already that is given to her from the Slayer power. So maybe the Witchblade will look at that and go, hang on a minute, I like the look of this woman. Like, maybe I should jump ship and head to Buffy. Because here's the thing, Buffy with the Witchblade, if Buffy takes control of that Witchblade, the fight's over. Sarah hasn't got a chance after that. You know, all she's got after that is police woman powers. You know, so she's got her natural skills that she has as a police officer. That's it. Buffy's now got Slayer powers and a Witchblade. Game over. Sarah's going to be dead. So that's an interesting way of looking at it. Maybe the Witchblade will choose Buffy. Maybe the Witchblade will decide, actually, I prefer this woman. She's got all these powers. She's a powerful woman. You know, makes sense. So I think, you know, having weighed it up, I think Witchblade wins. I think, naturally, Witchblade is going to be Buffy. And Buffy on her own is going to struggle against the power of the Witchblade. But if Witchblade decides to choose Buffy, that's a different story. That's the way I see Buffy turning this battle. But as I say, it's not up to me, so, you know, but that's sort of the way I see it. See this battle panning out. Should be an interesting one though, it's a very interesting battle. Very interesting characters. But yeah, like I say, it's not up to me, it's up to you guys. It is down to a vote. I've got a load of people that I know on Facebook and stuff who are really into Buffy, so I'm going to get in touch with them, get them involved in this. Hopefully we can find a lot of Witchblade fans as well. It is a fantastic series, it really is a fantastic character. I advise reading it, checking it out, because it is awesome. It's a shame they never did like a movie. I think they did a TV series at one point, which didn't really get successful. But she's an awesome character. So a very interesting battle there between two very powerful females. So please, like I say, feel free to vote in the comments below. Before we go, however, I do have to draw Battle 3 out of my bag that I use for work and shit. There it is. So like I say, draw this battle out of here. This is Battle 3 for next week, fight number 3. Draw on a little bit of paper that I have in this bag. So here we go, what we're going to get. I'll try and draw a good one out here. This is the first competitor for next week. Wow, it's a big one. Literally big, and in terms of power, pretty big. It is the Green Man himself, the Hulk, the big green bastard from the Marvel Universe, one of the Avengers, of course, very big, powerful character. Who's going to be fighting him? This is where I stop worrying, because the fact that this is a random draw, of course, means that we could get very one-sided battles. So when I draw someone like the Hulk out, I do get worried that I'm going to draw someone very low-powered out. It's going to be difficult to argue, so we'll see what happens. But this is the second competitor for next week's battle, and it is, ooh, I'll tell you what, this is interesting. It's Marvel versus DC. It is the Hulk versus Martian Manhunter, who of course is the DC character. Ooh, that's a good one. powerful in his own right. So the Hulk versus Martian Manhunter will be the next week battle. Marvel versus DC, big fight. Should be interesting. 2 male characters. We've had all females so far. First male battle, and it is a big one. Hulk versus Martian Manhunter. And we will see you next week for that one. But this week is where it's at. This week is what's important right now. Buffy Summers, Sarah Pizzini, aka Witchblade. Who wins? You decide.